Hi guys, Forgotten Wolf here, and we are back in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe for part 2 of the FNAF Timeline. God help me. This is the 150 subs special. I know we're almost at 200 subs now, but I'm sorry. Sorry for the late upload, but thank you so much everyone. Grab some food, drinks, whatever you want, and enjoy. Last time we covered Secret of the Mimic and FNAF 1 through Ultimate Custom Night, and today we are finishing the timeline with FNAF AR, Help Wanted, Security Breach, Help Wanted 2, and Security Breach Ruin. This isn't a one-hour timeline like last time, or maybe it is. That's just at the beginning of recording. But if you want to see the 1 hour timeline in part 1, go check that out. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Last time we left with Michael and Henry burning down Fazbear Entertainment, while William is tortured by Cassidy. With Fazbear Entertainment, Henry made it so after the fire, Fazbear would no longer be a corporate entity, meaning that Fazbear Entertainment was dead, and the memories of everything could finally begin to fade away, as Henry wanted. However, Fazbear didn't stay dead forever, as an anonymous business name who we don't know the name of, or at least I don't know the name of, they reformed Fazbear and started to try and rebuild the company's image. Now, something to amend from the previous video. I'm using the theory that Burn Trap is the Mimic, so you can assume the Mimic ended up at MCM somehow and was buried underground by William Afton and never recovered. Back to the main timeline. One of Fazbear's first priorities was to modernize the branding a little bit, while also doing away with the rumors of everything that William Afton did from 1979 to 2023. Sometime in 2024, the original Fazbear Entertainment had acquired some circuit boards and old tech likely left with the original company thanks to William Afton. After this, Fazbear hired an indie game developer named Steve, and later Silver Parasol Games, to make light of everything that happened in the 80s and 90s. This was to get people talking about Fazbear again, and this game was called Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. It would basically be the first 4 FNAF games into one game. Fazbear also prepared an app called Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery, or FNAF AR. With this game, Fazbear then sent the old circuit boards and such to Silver Parasol in order for them to scan it, and said it would help expedite the process, according to Tape Girl. This is where the trouble began for this new game. When FNAF Help Wanted was finally finished, had playtesters come in to test the game. In the game, they noticed a green bunny following around, messing with their brain. This is the origin of Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap was a part of the circuit boards Fazbear had Silver Parasol scan. Why they sent it there, I don't know. It's possible it's the Mimic or Afton making a last chance at escaping. Either way, Glitch Trap is a piece of Afton's consciousness from either the Springtrap suit itself, or more likely, a piece of the Mimic that was left over all these years later. 3 playtesters were hired to help test FNAF Help Wanted before its release. First was Jeremy. No, not the FNAF 2 guard, Jeremy Fitzgerald. This is the second one. Thanks, Scott, for reusing this name for, what is it, the 3rd time now? Oh, yeah. It just makes everything harder. Anyways, well, not like that. Anyways, Jeremy was being corrupted. A mask that would become the Vanny mask would be put on him, and Glitch Trap tried to control him. In the end, Jeremy managed to take off the mask and slice a chip off that had been inserted. Jeremy sued Fazbear Entertainment and won. Good for him. The next person was Tape Girl from FNAF Help Wanted 1. I like the idea that she is Phone Guy's daughter from the week before, so like daughter, I guess. She was able to recognize the threat, and she recorded tapes and left warnings for the next playtester after her. The final playtester would be a young woman named Vanessa. Finally, we're getting to another game, this time being FNAF Help Wanted and FNAF AR. First, I'll cover Help Wanted. In Help Wanted, Vanessa is, of course, the POV character we play as. She did all the mini-games that played the first 4 FNAF games. However, there was something following her, being Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap was following her in the game, seeking to take over her mind. Given that Vanessa seemed to have no parents by the time of FNAF AR, Glitch Trap found it perfect to make her become the new Elizabeth. She had the green eyes and the blonde hair to fit the part perfectly, as the Glitch Trap or Fiona, or Afton, whatever, Glitch Trap Fiona, they wanted to rebuild their the Afton family, Fiona was getting confused as she was part of this inserted to the code, and she was got exposure to the FNAF of the Aftons. So yeah, she's mixed up about her family. I believe Tom from Game Theory had a theory about this, and I believe that. Yeah. However, there was something that was following Vanessa the whole time, being Glitch Ship, as I said, and yeah, eventually Vanessa finished the game, but by the end, it wasn't Vanessa. She was practically Elizabeth, and Glitch Ship had corrupted her. As for FNAF AR, it's not important, but the emails in the game are important. With Vanessa fully under Glitch Trap's control, she began taking on the persona of Vanny and was doing Glitch Trap's bidding. Around this time, Vanessa began looking up suspicious stuff in company technology. That led to Vanessa landing in company-mandated therapy, but I'll get back to that. Help Wanted and AR released, much to critical acclaim, which got people talking about Fazbear and people theorizing about murders and haunted robots, but more importantly, it brought in a shit ton of money. This money allowed for Fazbear to work on their next big project, being a mega pizzaplex. However, that would take a long time. Before I go back to Vanessa and company mandated therapy, I should mention sometime between the years 2024 and 2035, before Vanessa got mandated therapy. There are a lot of unconfirmed details here, so I should mention Fiona or the original Mimic program, M1 if you remember. I'm guessing that part of the program that is Glitch Trap has a few Mimic details that are from M1, and Fiona wants to rebuild her family, but seeing the tragedies of the Afton from Help Wanted got her code mixed with Fiona, and yeah, she couldn't distinguish her family, which is Edwin, herself, and David, with the Afton family, and she began rebuilding both families, really. She got Vanessa to start rebuilding her family, or the Afton family in reality. The female staff bot at the head of the table from Security Breach really brings this idea together here. It's a main portion. Vanessa / Vanny was making kids go missing. I wrote in the script macking. That's so sad. Was making kids go missing, and one of these kids was Gregory. However, he met the details that lined up with David / crying child Afton. So Glitchtrap and Fiona had Vanessa / Vanny make a robotic version of Gregory with a bit of the Mimic program in so that Gregory would obey her. And the family was beginning to be rebuilt back together. This leads us into Vanessa landing in company-mandated therapy. To combat this, Fiona and Glitchtrap had Vanessa make a robotic clone of herself in order to throw the therapists off, and Vanessa, too, could take the original Vanessa's place, with the original Vanessa going on to be Vanny. Vanessa, too, would become possessed by Elizabeth Afton, as MatPat pointed out several times that the Circus Baby lights are not red in the blob, meaning she isn't possessing Circus Baby anymore. The Afton family was 2/5 complete. And really 3/5 actually. And now it's just Michael and William that need to be put back together. The Mega Pizzaplex was still being made, but they needed animatronics to run the new Pizzaplex. So Fazbear Entertainment laid out plans to rebrand the franchise with new glam rock animatronics being Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Monty. Foxy would be changed to Roxy, but they needed a prototype before carrying on with building the others. This led Fazbear to build Glamrock Freddy and marked him as prototype on his foot. Around this time, Vanessa had been hired by Fazbear and she would start soon. As for Vanessa, to ensure her transformation into the new Elizabeth, Gregory was also sent to therapy by Glitchtrap and Fiona to make sure that the therapist stayed far away from the truth, and whenever they got too close, Gregory was instructed to take them out back, and well, yeah, please don't strike this down, YouTube. They killed them. YouTube, please don't strike this down. Eventually, Vanessa joined the company, and she brought Freddy to the construction site, the Pizzaplex. They cleaned out the rocks there and found Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the FNAF 6 location. The building that was covering a sinkhole and was somehow standing. The bodies of Michael, Circus Baby, Molten Freddy, and Puppet / Lefty seemed to be nowhere to be found, but they did find Springtrap / William Afton. Since Afton is fully gone by this point, Glitchtrap would need to find another way to bring Springtrap back. However, when Freddy came back, he seemed different. He described himself as finding himself again, and the family was Almost reunited as it became clear Michael Afton was possessing Glamrock Freddy. The Pizzaplex wouldn't open until 2035, and they still needed to find a replacement for Afton. I just want to clarify really quick. Freddy says she brought him down to the FNAF 6 location. I'm assuming it's Vanessa, as she is the only human that we know about that would have reason to go down to the FNAF 6 location. The puppet is gone, or at least Charlie isn't possessing it anymore, and Cassidy was off torturing William. By process of elimination, that means Vanessa brought Glamrock Freddy down to the FNAF 6 location. Another game we're finally getting into, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I'm going to admit, this is the part of this timeline I'm most scared about, as the story of Security Breach was mishandled so badly. For example, Burntrap was supposed to be a mere spirit. It brings the question, can we even use Security Breach for lore purposes? I'm going to say a tentative yes. But I forgot to mention two things first about the pre-Security Breach part was of the timeline. First, Glamrock Bonnie for some reason went off course towards Monty Golf, which led to Monty Gator attacking Bonnie and destroying him. Bonnie was beyond repair, which led Fazbear to replace Bonnie with Monty Gator. All the Bonnie stuff was gone, much to Freddy's sadness. Now Foxy and Bonnie were gone and replaced. Now Freddy and Chica stood alone as the only of the core four to stand at the top. The second is that Vanessa and Freddy found the Mimic. The Mimic took the form of Springtrap and was placed down in a chamber deep underground. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the shit show known as Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. The Afton family is finally reunited here, and it's time for Freddy to crash live on stage. Wait, what? Yeah, Michael Afton's spirit overrode the Freddy system, and live on stage, and when Freddy detected Gregory, speaking of Gregory, something inside him snapped and he stopped obeying Glitchtrap's commands, which led to Vanessa and the animatronics looking for Gregory with the exception of Glamrock Freddy. Freddy had been rebooted into safe mode for a while, which led to him being offline, off the control of Glitchtrap. This allowed for Michael Afton to keep Freddy powered up to protect Gregory, symbolically meant to be his younger brother, crying child, David Afton. Gregory had one goal in mind, to free Freddy's from the control of Glitchtrap and get the animatronics back, or get back at the animatronics. This journey led Freddy and Gregory to the underground of the Pizzaplex. There they discovered that Burntrap was the Mimic. After this, Gregory beat the Princess Quest arcade games and freed Vanessa from Glitchtrap's control. The Pizzaplex had been closed because of all the chaos and security breach, and Gregory and Freddy discovered that there were two Vanessas. The human Vanessa ended up returning to a normal life, while the robot Vanessa joined Gregory and Glamrock Freddy's head. Yeah, they kinda lost the body, fellas. Sorry. The three Afton children downhill, and that ends Security Breach with the Princess Quest ending, the confirmed canon ending. Before I continue, I need to mention the bullies from FNAF 4. You're probably thinking, who the hell are they? If you remember, they killed the crying child of David Afton, so before we continue, I think it's important to know that Michael Afton was Foxy Bro, and I need to mention Bonnie Bro and Freddy Bro. Before I do that, I need to bring up Gregory's relationship with Cassie. When it was Cassie's birthday, none of her friends showed up with the exception of one Gregory. This made Cassie and Gregory extremely close, and Cassie's dad is Bonnie Bro, given by some of the items collected in Ruin, a reaction by Cassie, one of which is a Bonnie mask, which is extremely similar to the mask that Michael Afton wore. Since the bite of 83, the bullies from FNAF 4 had made their life goals to redeem themselves for their role in David Afton's death. I covered Michael a lot in FNAF 1, in part 1, so go check that out already. I'm not going to go over that. Bonnie Bro, Cassie's dad, had become a technician for Fazbear, so that he could repair animatronics and correct problems, so that nothing like the bite of 83 could ever happen again. As for Freddy Bro, Oswald's dad from Into the Pit is Freddy Bro, but I don't believe Into the Pit is canon. Rather, Oswald's dad is a parallel for Freddy Bro. Either way, Freddy Bro became a worker for a factory that Fazbear got their animatronics from, and he got approval over if they were working properly. Both Freddy Bro and Bonnie Bro tried to redeem themselves for their role in the bite of 83, and ways of repairing animatronics compared to Michael Afton's approach of finishing off Fazbear and setting the spirits free while killing his father. Why is Bonnie Bro important? Because he's the main character of FNAF Help Wanted 2. Cassie's dad returned to the Pizzaplex to clean up the mess of security breach. He had been sent in by Fazbear, and he was also given the Venny mask. There, he would make his way through the facility, playing various minigames, and overall, not much happens in Help Wanted 2. The ending is interesting as Cassie's dad managed to wander into the elevator of Circus Baby's Rentals. Yes, the sister location. The location in sister location, if that makes sense. There he saw Glitch Trap being removed from Vanessa permanently for, I'm assuming, both Vanessas. However, Cassie's dad walked into a trap and he would never be seen again as he would go missing, ultimately being turned into a staff bot that gives Cassie the Vanny mask and Ruin. Before I get on to the last game of the timeline, I need, again, more background for Ruin. Cassie is the main character of Ruin, and it's important to know what was happening in her life before Ruin. As mentioned earlier, Cassie was friends with Gregory, and he was the only person that showed up to his birthday party. Her father had recently gone missing as well, leaving Cassie emotionally compromised, especially after she saw posters that said Gregory was missing, likely put up by Fazbear Entertainment. This leads Cassie to go into the Pizzaplex. Before Ruin, I need to say what Gregory has been doing during this time since security breach. Gregory and the robot Vanessa eventually returned to the Pizzaplex. We know this because you can find Gregory's backpack in Ruin. What was he doing? Well, him and Vanessa, they returned to find the Mimic taking the form of Burntrap. They led Burntrap to the scooper that is either from sister location or one designed for the Mega Pizzaplex for some reason. But they scooped the Mimic out of Burntrap. Afterwards, they ran and built up a wall to hold the Mimic and kept him locked down there using a program called Mixes. After this, Gregory and Vanessa and the Freddy Head seem to be somewhere in the Mega Pizzaplex, but it's not confirmed where they are. Finally, this leads into the final part of my Five Nights at Freddy's timeline, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin DLC, where we play as Cassie, daughter of Bonnie Bro. One day, Cassie got a call from Gregory, or rather his walkie-talkie that he gave her. He was trapped in the Pizzaplex and needed her to come and rescue him. Cassie did this and got the Vanny mask from a staff bot that was possessed by her father. How ironic. Wow, you failed, bro. Cassie was instructed by Gregory to deactivate the security nodes that kept the Mimic trapped. Oh, wait, the Mimic. Yeah, I should mention that part. Yeah, Gregory that calling Cassie was the Mimic. Well, the mimicking Gregory as from when Gregory and Vanessa sealed it underground. Eventually, Cassie freed the Mimic and realized her mistake. She fled for her life and found an elevator, and she escaped the Mimic, but was going up when the real Gregory spoke. Since Cassie had the Vanny mask, it was connected to Fazbear, which meant they couldn't risk Cassie escaping and under the influence of the Vanny mask following them. This meant Gregory shut down the elevator and caused Cassie to fall back down underground underneath the Pizzaplex. With that, with Ruin over, finally, the FNAF timeline is complete, or at least my version of it. It may have taken 2 videos, the first part being an hour and the second part being roughly like 20 minutes. And yeah, this is... Alright, how long until this video is going to get contradicted? I'm giving this probably a week until Scott gives us more lore. I do want to mention that it's possible William Afton is alive and the Mimic was sealed underground before FNAF 4 and sister location, but I really, really hate that theory. And yeah, William being alive really just ruins the FNAF 6 fire and it makes it pointless, and Michael died for no reason. But anyways, I'm so happy this timeline is complete. Fun fact, when I was actually originally planning the 1 hour timeline video, I originally planned to cover everything, even post Help Wanted in that video, but that didn't happen for obvious reasons. Anyways, thanks so much for supporting me through this journey. I also want to thank everyone who hated on me for using AI in the first part because, while it was only the thumbnail, you guys taught me a valuable lesson. I've never since used AI, and I did not use it on this video, as you can tell by the thumbnail. But yeah, that's water under the bridge. I've never used AI again. I think we can agree that's water under the bridge now. As for what's next, Game of Thrones House's Season 2 finale is next, and the Battle of the Bastards videos should be out by the time this is uploaded. And I have 2 more House of the Dragon what ifs planned, but That'll come out before the end of summer, and then I will return with my Game of Thrones book predictions and A Dream of Spring. But until then, bye!